The first debate on the Newshour tonight is on the subject of whether the Aligarh Muslim University, and the hashtag is AMU minority tag, and I want all our panelists to be focused on the subject and not veer away, and that specially goes for you, Sambit Patra and Rakesh Sinha, so the focus can be specifically on one subject. We are talking about the Aligarh Muslim University. I will not have minority majority politics in the course of the debate tonight. The subject is only and only this: should the Aligarh Muslim University be ripped off of its minority tag? And speaking for the motion on that subject is Sambit Patra of the BJP, Rakesh Sinha of the RSS, and R Venkatesh. They believe that forthwith, without delay, and as soon as possible, the Aligarh Muslim University should no longer be a minority institution. And for those who are saying it should remain a minority institution, Pavan Verma of the JDU, Kamal Faruqui, former chairperson of the Delhi Minority Commission, Mustafa Zaidi, who's Honorary Secretary of the AMU Teachers Association, joining us live there from Aligarh tonight. I hope you can hear me, Mr. Zaidi, because this is going to be one hot debate. Sultan Shahin is founding editor of NewAgeIslam.com, and the opening combat tonight on the debate is between Mustafa Zaidi and Rakesh Sinha. Mustafa Zaidi, can you tell Rakesh Sinha why the Aligarh Muslim University should continue to be a minority institution? You can put your point of view across within about under a minute, then Rakesh Sinha responds, and then it is an open debate. Mr. Zaidi, you want me to ask you a question to start, or you want to make your opening comment regardless?
No, I'll make it regardless.
Go ahead.
The point is that Aligarh Muslim University, the Aligarh Muslim University was established. It started as the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College, and its avowed purpose was to bring Muslims to modern education. It was the purpose of the founder, and that is what the founder tried to do. And that was an objective which was supported by everybody, including people who were not Muslims.
Sir, you are talking about 1877? Sir, you are talking about 1877,
yes,
it is 2016.
Yes,
I'm sorry,
yes.
But 1877 and 2016 are separated, for your kind information, by 139 years. So don't give me something that was relevant 139 years back. Please conclude your opening comments so that Rakesh Sinha can respond.
They are separated by that. But the fact is that in 2005, the central government had gone to the Supreme Court and said that the AMU has a minority status. Now, why is that not being given to us? Why is the NDA government now going back on the word given by the previous government? You know, there is a continuity in governance. What is given by one government cannot be withdrawn by another government without any cause or any reason. That is the reason why we are saying
okay, Sambit, that question goes to the BJP. That question goes to the BJP. We are opening. No, Sambit is opening first. So, Sambit, because the comment was made about the BJP. Yeah, go ahead, Sambit.
Sir, remember one thing, as far as the continuity of government is concerned, let me be very technical in this issue. A bad law is a bad law. Whichever government was in power, it should change. Secondly, please visit 1967. You had gone back to 1877. Please visit 1967, the Supreme Court of India, Aziz Baza versus the Union of India. What was the statement of Supreme Court of India? And I quote from the Supreme Court's verdict: AMU was not a minority institution because it had been established by an Act of Parliament 1920 and had not been established by Muslims. I mean, whatever you are pointing out, that it was a MAO institute which changed later into a
what I am pointing out is the point of fact.
Just a second, sir. Let me complete. It will help you in the debate in the sense that you can answer me in toto. You can answer me in toto. Let's not fragment our discussion. No, sir. The whole basis is 1967. Aziz Bhasa versus Union of India.
Let us talk of 1977.
Yes, because that is the basis of even the delivery of the Allahabad High Court judgment in 2005 and 2006. Sir, let me complete, sir. Let me complete. The debate would be informative. Otherwise, it would be a tutu meme. You are a senior person with knowledge. So let me please complete, and thereafter you can counter me. Sir, your contention after 1967 is that in 1981 there was an amendment made where the university word was defined and where the establishment my Muslim was bought by two subsequent sections. In fact, this was dealt with in great detail by none other than the Allahabad High Court, because there were writ petitions filed in the Allahabad High Court. 2005 December by a single judge, and thereafter a division bench 2006. Let me say, what did the Allahabad High Court say? I quote, the amendment in preamble, long title section 2.1 and section 5.2c declares that the institution was established by minority community. The said declaration being contrary to Aziz Bhasha's case and the basis of the said judgment having not successfully changed, the aforesaid provisions are nothing but overruling of a judicial decision.
Sambit, listen. Sambit, listen.
By the apex court.
Sambit, listen. I am a bit
So
shocked and horrified by the nature of your argument tonight. And I'll tell you why.
Why?
I'll tell you why.
I'm sorry.
No interruptions.
Why are you horrified by the Supreme Court?
I'll tell you. I listened. Did I pass judgment or observation before listening to the first part of your argument? And I'm saying openly, I know you don't like it. I'm horrified by the nature of your argument tonight. And the reason for this is, and let's get Pavan Verma into the debate. One sec. Listen to me. Listen to me, sir. Just a minute.
Mr. Goswami,
I am worried about this nature of... Sir, I gave you the opening
Mr. Goswami,
comment. It's not right. I gave you the opening comment.
Just one point.
Sir, I just want to say one thing. That the reason I'm horrified...
just one point.
Sir, may I with your permission? I'm saying I'm horrified at Sambit Patra's argument, and Sambit Patra says, why are you horrified? I'm horrified. I am horrified because, and for the singular reason. For the singular reason, and Pavan Verma is waiting to come into the debate. I'll just tell you why I'm horrified. I'm horrified because I think this is a hyper-technical argument that lacks any conviction. I mean, that's not the argument. You want to argue that the Supreme Court in the Aziz Basha judgment categorically stated that AMU was not a minority institution because it was brought in by an act of parliament, and what happened in 1920 and the conversion of that. I mean, come on, Sambit Patra. This is all the argument that you have tonight? Such a technical argument.
Why to say come on to me?
This is the most narrow technical argument that you can have come up with.
It is not Sambit Patra or the BJP which says so.
I'm saying, I'm asking a broader question.
Such a kind of judgment.
I'm asking a broader question to Pavan Verma, if he hears me, please. Pavan Verma, this is a democracy. And in a democracy, everything should be equal up to a point. Now, how can you stop a qualified Hindu or a qualified Sikh or a qualified Christian who is deserving of admission, may even come from a scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC background, and who has worked, he may be from an economically deprived background, and you will close the doors of Aligarh Muslim University saying, listen, we have 50% reservation going on now, there's a minority institution. The student says, but my father is also a taxpayer, and my parents are taxpayers, and I therefore believe that this is a government-run institution, I should get entry into it. You say, no, this is a Muslim institution. You may be a taxpayer, you may have worked hard, you may come from economically deprived classes, you may be scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC, but you will not be allowed into the Aligarh Muslim University because you are not a Muslim. Now, how fair is that, Pavan Verma? I want you to tell all the viewers of Newshour tonight, and the debate is open, that because you are not a Muslim, there can be no discrimination against you. Now tell me, if a deserving Muslim was turned away, and let's be very clear tonight. I believe, one small point, and then I'm opening this up. Consider tonight what kind of response there would have been. Pavan Verma and R Venkatesh can come in after that. Pavan Verma, if a deserving Muslim student wanted to enter IIT or an IIM, right? Or he wanted to enter Hindu college in Delhi, or another college somewhere else, and he was told that because you are a Muslim, you will not be allowed entry. Would that be fair? It would not be. Consider the reverse logic, Pavan Verma, and attempt your defense. Go ahead.
Respond?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I respond?
Yes, sir. Please do.
Arnab, your question is exceptionally relevant, and the answers to it are found in the Constitution and in the wisdom and foresight of those who gave us the Constitution. Article 31 which I need not refer to, all the panelists are aware of it, which gives the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice to minorities in this country, was put in Part 3, which is part of the fundamental rights of the Constitution. When you read that with Article 29 and then read Article 31, the intention of the framers of the Constitution was to set up a balance between equality, which you refer to, and the preservation of secularism in a country where there was minorities. And please allow me 30 seconds more. K.M. Munshi in the Constituent Assembly, when moving Article 31 and emphasizing the need for it to be part of the section on fundamental rights, I doff my hat to his perceiving what the situation could be today. He said, members of the majority community who are more in number may not at any point of time take away the rights of minorities to administer and establish educational institutions of their choice. Therefore, Arnab, please don't be so dismissive.
No, I'm not being dismissive. Please don't. No, once I disagree, but I'm not dismissive.
I don't know who said no.
No, I said, I disagree, but I'm not dismissive.
I'm making a point.
Yeah, there's a difference.
But I'm making a point to you. You may not agree with me. That's your right.
Yeah, but I'm not dismissive.
And therefore, the whole purpose of Section 3 of the Constitution, which deals with fundamental rights, was that in a composite and plural country like ours, where you need to guarantee equality through many instruments, you have a provision by which you give to minorities the right to establish and administer their own educational institutions. So it is not positing the rights of any Indian versus minorities, but trying to preserve the essential notion of equality.
Okay, now, Rakesh Sinha is countering.
On the technical point. Technical point, sir.
Now, Mr. Verma, let me clarify. You have raised an issue. I am just telling you, this institution was created by an act. This act does not mention the minority. Your wish and will, your vote bank politics cannot convert any institution as a minority institution. If you want to form a minority institution, you are well. Under the Constitution, you can form. But in 1920 Act, when this university was established, there is no mention of minority institution. Number one. Second point, let me complete. This institution is for the two identity theory. This institution is based on two identity theory. It is not me, it is M.H. Beg. Justice M.H. Beg remarked on the Aligarh Muslim University, the way the Muslim University is proceeding as a minority institution, and there is one freedom fighter, Badruddin Tayyarji. He said it is an Islamic university, it is not a minority institution. So kindly don't convert any secular institution into a religious institution.
Can I respond to him?
Sultan Shahin. Sultan Shahin is countering. What's it? Sultan Shahin is countering. Sultan Shahin is countering. Sultan Shahin of NewAgeIslam.com. Go ahead. Sultan Shahin. Yeah.
Aligarh Muslim University was established. Aligarh Muslim University was established to counter the original Boko Haramists of India. You see, the Deobandis, who issued 60 fatwas against Sir Sayyid. Because I call them original Boko Haramists because their theory is that English education is sin. Boko Haram, the word Boko Haram itself means foreign education is sin. This was the position of Deoband, and they went even as far as Makkah and Medina to bring a fatwa against Sir Sayyid for him to be killed. And so if he continued with his project of establishing that college, which later became university. So this is that the Congress party since 1920s has been trying to establish a mullah leadership on Muslims in India.
Well, Mr. Shahin, I heard you all, right?
Yes.
I heard you all. Now my question is, what if if there's a very, very deserving Muslim student, right, who wants to get into a particular course, say at Allahabad University, right? And this fine young man, 17 or 18 years old, wants to get into the Allahabad University into a very competitive course, right? And R Venkatesh, I am being very practical tonight. This country, problem is we've been too politically correct, we haven't gone to the issue. So if somebody says
Absolutely.
no, one sec, Pavan Verma, I'm not saying this to provoke you. Don't get me wrong. This is not a Hindu-Muslim argument. I'm saying,
please widen your question.
I am widening.
There are Sindhi, Tamil, Telugu, Gujarati minority institutions.
Sir, I am asking you. No, 1 second.
Are you against them as well?
1 minute. No. Let me complete my question before MR Venkatesh comes in with a counter. MR Venkatesh, understand this. If a very deserving, very hardworking, very talented Muslim young man or woman was told that you will not be allowed into Allahabad University and 50% of the seats at Allahabad University will be denied to you, or for that matter any premier university you will not be entered and 50% of the seats you are persona non grata for 50% of the seats, would Pavan Verma be arguing on the other side tonight? The point here is simple, Pavan Verma, and I wish that you were fair. Identity cannot be a consideration for admission into a premier institute. There should be equality of opportunity and a primary consideration for merit. You cannot. Please allow
us to apply.
Please.
Either we bank upon your assessment, either we go by your assessment of what India should be, or we rely on the Constitution of India.
Sir, I'm sorry.
And the wisdom of those who drafted it.
Sir, I'm sorry. I am going by the Constitution of India, and with the greatest of respect to you,
yes, and
because
the Constitution of India is very clear.
Sir, listen.
Minorities must be given the right in a country like ours, and by the way, that right is not restricted only to minorities.
Sir, let us talk about.
I just told you that linguistic minorities, Tamils, Telugus,
if you were to consider this in 2005 and ask anyone
because
tonight.
The Constitution intends to balance these.
Sir, in 2005,
I just gave you the
sir, this is a restrictive policy, and if you don't believe me, because you have just said some things about me, which with the greatest of respect, I again refute. No, Pavan Verma, listen. Pavan Verma, why don't you, if you don't believe me, then ask Mustafa Zaidi tonight. Let's ask Mustafa Zaidi tonight whether or not it is true. My information is that in 2005, most unfortunately, the Aligarh Muslim University attempted to reserve 50% of seats in postgraduate medical courses highly sought after in this country. Most unfortunately, the Aligarh Muslim University says only Muslims can get up to 50% seats in postgraduate medical courses. Did anyone ask why the number of open seats available for meritorious students who want to pursue medicine should be reduced by half? That a deserving Hindu, Sikh, Christian, OBC, SC, ST should not be allowed to do a master's in medicine from Aligarh Muslim University? Is this a wrong question to ask, Mr. Verma? Is it a wrong question to ask, Mr. Zaidi?
Are you arguing against reservation per se?
I am saying
you are arguing against reservation. The whole logic of reservation is...
Okay, let MR Venkatesh come in. Let the debate be open tonight. MR Venkatesh can come into the debate. MR Venkatesh.
The only logic of reservation is that people who are deprived, people who have been deprived of educational opportunities for whatever reason have to be given a leg up.
Sir, don't teach me. Don't tell me about who is deprived and who is not. As per the 2001 census, for your kind information, in your city of Aligarh, 69% of its urban population was living before the poverty line. If you want reservations, give an opportunity to the deprived classes, irrespective of their religious background. You cannot say only Muslims. Are you saying Hindus are not deprived, Christians are not deprived?
AMU is a central university. It has to cater to the whole country.
Exactly, but if it is a central university, then follow central university rules.
Exactly.
Yes, and
MR Venkatesh, you can't argue on both sides. You can't run with the hare and hunt with the hound.
One second. Let us look at Article 29.
MR, go on.
And let me quote from the 2006 judgment.
Mr. Zaidi, please listen to me. Mr. Zaidi, please listen to me.
Let me quote from the 2006 judgment that Mr. Patra has
please wait.
I would like to
MR.
Mr. Zaidi, please wait.
First listen to what...
I cannot be speaking when the other gentleman is speaking. I listen to him very patiently. Arnab, this is not done. This gentleman must be asked to stop.
No, you didn't listen
No,
to me.
please listen. Now Article 31. Article 31 gives Article 31 gives a right to start a minority institution to all minorities, not to the government. It is not a mandate on the government to start minority institutions. It doesn't say a Tamil in Punjab, the government of Punjab will start a Tamil school. It allows a Tamil in Punjab to start a Tamil school. That is what you must understand. Nobody stops you from starting a Muslim university. Nobody stops you from preserving your Muslim identity. It is not incumbent on the state. It is not incumbent on the state to do it.
That's why you have to go back to 1920. That's why you have to go back to 1920.
No, why should we don't have to go to 1920. We will go only to 1947. We have to go only to 1947.
Because the money
we will have to go only to 1947. If anything beyond 1947, then why don't we go to 5th century AD? When there were no Muslims at all. When there is no Muslims in this country, what are you talking about in 5th century?
And that money was given to the government as part of the deal for passing the law. And there is no way that you can establish.
I agree, sir.
AMU, Aligarh Muslim University. Aligarh Muslim University.
Right.
Mr. Zaidi,
Innovation and
MR 1 minute. MR 1 second. MR and Mustafa Zaidi. Mustafa Zaidi.
Who is setting up the private universities?
Mr. Zaidi.
The private universities are being set up by acts of legislation.
Mr. Zaidi.
Mr. Zaidi. Are being set up by the acts of legislation. Then how can you say that they are private universities?
Sir, if you want it, there are several minority institutions, minority schools. Why don't you start it up? Why you want the government to tax me and start a minority institution? This is the most unconstitutional thing. This goes against the grain of Article 14. This goes against the very basis of Constitution.
Look at the Constitution. Read the Constitution. Read the Constitution, Mr.
The spirit of the Constitution is to treat each one equally.
Read the Constitution.
I am reading. I am a student of law, sir. I am telling you.
You'll find the answer there. No,
I am
not a student of law, but whatever little law I know, I have read the article and it says that the state will not...
You're wrong. Can I come in between both of you? Mustafa Zaidi, 1 minute. MR, stop, 1 minute. Mustafa Zaidi, stop for a minute. Mustafa Zaidi, stop, MR Venkatesh, stop. At this point of time, viewers, we have come to an incredible point in our debate, where most unfortunately some panelists on the other side have accused me and other panelists of trampling upon the logic of what is in the Constitution of India. Now, Mr. Pavan Verma has accused me of many things on many debates, but this is the first time that he has accused me of misinterpreting the Constitution of India, and I welcome the challenge. I welcome the challenge. Pavan Verma is a learned man. I don't want to tell him that he is factually incorrect, and it pains me. It pains me to say to you tonight, Pavan Verma, your reading of Article 31 of the Constitution of India 1949 is wholly and thoroughly, unfortunately, I declare on the Newshour tonight, incorrect. Because Article 31, and I'm reading this in the context of the Aligarh Muslim University debate, says all minorities. You see, Article 31 has 31A as well. It says all minorities, whether based on religion or language, shall have the right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. 1A goes on to say, in making any law providing for the compulsory acquisition of any property of an educational institution established and administered by a minority, referred to in clause 1, the state shall ensure that the amount fixed by or determined under such law for the acquisition of such property is such that would not restrict or abrogate the right guaranteed under that clause. Now, what does this therefore mean? It means that yes, minorities, or let me specify, the Muslim community has a right to establish and administer educational institutions, but not the government. AMU is established by an act of parliament in 1920, and hence Article 31 does not apply. You need to look. You need to look at this in context and therefore concede the point. Please go ahead.
You made a long tirade against me, so allow me to respond.
No, not a tirade. It's called a counter, sir. Yeah.
Okay. My apologies if you misconstrued it. First of all, Arnab, you made a legitimate point that the Constitution may have given to minorities, both religious and linguistic, the right to administer and run their educational institutions. But the Constitution also says that in giving aid to such institutions, the state shall not discriminate merely by the fact that they are a minority institution. In other words, in case the central government, in case the central government has made Aligarh Muslim University the Muhammad Anglo-Oriental College into a university, that shall not take away from its minority status. That is the plain reading of the Constitution.
Sir,
and
wrong.
I say to Sambit Patra,
Arnab,
You're wrong.
1967 has been superseded
Sir,
by the
you are absolutely
1981
wrong.
Parliament
Sir, you're wrong.
Act,
No, sir.
whose constitutionality is before the Supreme Court. Mr.
Sir, you should
Patra,
listen to
please
what the
allow me
court had to
speak.
say for this
Please.
exact question of yours.
Please,
Remember,
please
you
allow
want
me.
all of us
Please
to sit
allow
in a
me,
time
sir.
machine and fly
Arnab,
off to
please.
1920.
Please.
But let me please tell you as to what the Supreme Court had to
understand.
say. I quote.
Please
No, sir,
understand.
listen to this. Listen to this, sir.
Mr.
The act-
Patra has not
Sir,
gone to
sir,
read anything
Sir, Mr.
beyond
Verma.
67 judgment.
Okay, Sambit, let him. Okay, one second. Sambit Patra will pull back now. As I say, Sambit, pull back. Let Mr. Pavan Verma complete his argument because I don't want. No. One second. In the fairness of the debate, on the Newshour tonight, let Pavan Verma complete his argument because I do not want him to get a feeling that just because I disagree with him, I am browbeating him. And hence I will let him complete the debate because otherwise his next accusation will be that you're browbeating me. Complete your debate, and after you complete, in less than a minute, Sambit Patra, who has smiled for the first time this week, maybe this month, maybe this year, Pavan Verma, complete your point.
Thank you.
Complete
Arnab,
Yeah.
the 1981 AMU Amendment Act supersedes the 67 judgment, and nobody can deny the competence. Nobody can deny the competence of Parliament to create laws which supersede previous Supreme Court judgments. Let me say that it has been done by this government and previous governments. It's been done in the case of the Vodafone matter. There was a struck down by the Supreme Court. Parliament passed a law on the enemies' properties bill. The court struck it down. The Parliament brought an ordinance. This government has done so. Now, entry 63 in the Union list gives Parliament the legislative competence to pass a law. If the 1981 law was there, there would have been no 1967 judgment, because the 1981 law's primary purpose was to say that while we are making this into a university, now I'll just finish, I'll take 10 seconds more. While we are making this into a university, the minority character of this university is not being established by this act because it predates this act and goes back to 1875, and therefore it will continue to benefit by the provisions of Article 31.
Okay, now you know,
Arnab, as you promised, I have heard
one sec, Sambit Patra, just 1 minute. One intervening point that I want to make. In 1951 and 1965, after our Constitution was adopted, Pavan Verma, Parliament passed amendments to the AMU Act where restrictions on non-Muslims becoming part of the university code were removed and mandatory religious instruction was made optional. So you are selectively quoting what the Parliament has done and not done. So to begin with, our political class adopted a secular approach to the university's administration. Most unfortunately, after that, minority and Muslim appeasement became a part and parcel of our national politics. And as a result of that, the Congress in its 1980 manifesto in an election.
That you are seeing this discussion as an appeasement debate.
So of course it's an appeasement debate. You have any doubt?
It's a debate about the spirit of the Constitution.
So of course it's an appeasement debate.
Mr. Verma,
I'm sorry. It is an appeasement debate. It is an appeasement debate because go back to 1980.
You made your editorial line clear.
It became an appeasement debate.
Of course it's an appeasement debate. It becomes an appeasement debate by nature.
Therefore you're not open to facts.
Now let me counter Mr. Verma with some facts. Mr. Verma, I have listened to you. I have heard you. Please hear me out as well.
One second. Mr. Shahin, Mr. Zaidi and Mr. Rakesh Sinha, just hold it. I'll come to both of you after Sambit Patra. Now, you know what? I've been accused of saying, why are you making appeasement debate? I'd like to tell Pavan Verma that the 1980 manifesto of the Congress party says that the minority character of Aligarh Muslim University will be reassured. Why was the Congress party playing politics on this in 1980? Is it not true that following that in 1991 with overwhelming majority
I would read out what Indira Gandhi ji also had to say. I would even read out the statement of Indira Gandhi.
Of course it's politics over religion.
Just a second, Mr. Verma, let me counter you with facts. You and many others saying that we have to revisit to 1920 and we have to see as to what happened in 1920. Absolutely, that's what was done by the Supreme Court. You should listen to what the Supreme Court had to say. I quote, "The Act may have been passed as a result of efforts of the Muslim minority, but that does not mean that the university, when it came into being under the 1920 Act, was established by the Muslim minority." Mr. Verma, the Parliament, you and me, by revisiting 1920 cannot change this. Sir, I was not interjecting. Sir, I was not interjecting. You are a gentleman, please hear me out. So by revisiting 1920, we cannot change the truth, and that's the reason as to why when Allahabad University heard this post 1981 and in 2005, where the reservation for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe was struck down, the court said that even with this 1981 amendment, the basis of judgment of 1967 Aziz Bhasa's case cannot be changed. And let me read out what eminent personalities in discussion in Lok Sabha in 1972 on Aligarh Muslim University Amendment Bill had to say. First, let me say what Indira Gandhi, the Prime Minister, had to say. I quote, "If this demand is conceded, the government cannot resist similar demands from other minorities, religious as well as linguistic institutions." Srimati Indira Gandhi, 1972, very different from what she is in 1981. Narul Hassan, 1972, "Sir, this is not a demand," I quote, "Sir, this is not a demand which is neither in the national interest nor the interest of university. Any single institution cannot be maintained by the central government for the benefit exclusively of one community to be run by a single community."
You have to go to the
Professor
spirit of the
Narul Hassan.
Constitution.
Now, Sir Syed Ahmad Agha, 1972, on the floor of Parliament, I quote, "So all the universities in this country, including the Banaras Hindu University and Aligarh Muslim University, have to work together and make a coordinated effort for the development of the country." Mr. Verma, I ask you a direct question. Do you want reservation for Dalits
What do you
in
think
Aligarh Muslim
AMU is doing
University,
is working
or you
for the
do not
non-development of the country?
Do you want reservation? Do you want reservation for the Dalits in Aligarh Muslim University or no? Yes or no?
Mr. Patra,
Reservation
this
for Dalits,
country,
yes
this
or
country
no?
is not run
Sir,
by your
reservation for
views.
Dalits,
It's run
yes
by
or
the
no?
Constitution of India.
Reservation for Dalits, yes or no?
The country is run by the Constitution of India.
Sir, my simple
not by
question,
your views.
My simple question,
And the Constitution of India is very clear.
The Supreme Court, sir. Sir,
The Constitution of India is very
Supreme Court of
clear.
India, sir, and I know the Supreme Court of India has more faith in the Constitution of India than Lalu Prasad Yadav
On
and
the
Nitish Kumar,
reasons
you
why
and me put
Article
together.
31 have been put there.
Sir, no, sir. I have asked
Take a
you a
broader
direct and
view
a
of
simple
India.
question.
So what
Do
kind of
you
narrow
prism?
do you believe in reservation for
Take a
Dalits,
broader view
or
of India.
don't
We
you
have to
believe
carry
in
everyone
reservation for
together.
Dalits? Do you
Pavan
want
Verma,
caste and scheduled
Pavan
castes
Verma.
to receive reservation
Pavan-
for Aligarh Muslim University?
No.
Yes or
What's a
Please
Pavan?
answer.
Pavan
Yes or
Verma.
no?
Pavan Verma. Even
No,
as
Dalits get
you
reservation
fight,
in AMU.
even as you fight with all your passion for retaining Aligarh as an Aligarh Muslim minority university, please understand how unfair this is for so many deserving and deprived Indians. A minority institution can reserve 50% of its seats for linguistic or religious minorities. So effectively, the number of students who will get in on merit.
Arnab, you are repeating this question when the intent of the Constitution is clear. That the Constitution seeks to balance the right to equality and affirmative action with the preservation of the
That is
secular,
the
plural
question.
and composite culture of India. That was explained in the
counter the
Constituent
Supreme
Assembly.
Courts and the
Are you
High
not
Court
aware of
judgment
this?
when
Sir, are you not aware? Are you not aware? And Mr. Shahin, one second. Mr. Zaidi and Mr. Pavan Verma, let me tell you eminently, I can take you both of you on at the same time on the basis of logic. Now understand, understand. Please, Mr. Pavan Verma, have an open mind. Have a broader view. Yes,
Sir, I would request you to do the same.
sir, have an open mind and a broader view. Have an open mind and a broader view. And Rakesh Sinha can come into the debate.
Has quoted.
And the broader view is
Rakesh Sinha, please.
Osmania University. Mr. Verma wants
May I
that
quote
similar
again?
things should be followed in all the universities. And I am telling you, Zakir Hussain was one who opposed the minority institution, Aligarh AMU as a minority institution. I am quoting MC Chagla. MC Chagla said, there is no place for the minority, Aligarh Muslim University as a minority institution.
There is no place for the minorities according to you.
MC Chagla, Zakir Hussain, are you superseding these individuals? Were they not knowing the Indian constitution?
भारत में सबको लेके चलिए.
The Act of 1951.
ये देश की बुनियाद है.
Nehru was the Prime Minister, it was not Narendra Modi.
ये धार्मिक ध्रुवीकरण मत कीजिए.
Act of 1951 Act categorically established a non-minority institution. It is a non-minority institution. You want to convert it for your own sake. That is the vote bank
Party's manifesto of 1977.
Don't make Muslim community
the Janata Party of 1977. Janata Party of 1977 had in its manifesto promised restoration of minority character of AMU, and at that time the party and when the government came into power, the bill was introduced by the Janata government, and the people who supported it included Mr. Ram Jethmalani, Mr. Subramanian Swamy, and Advani and Vajpayee ji were both members of the cabinet which introduced the government.
To the AMU.
No, but what about 1977? 1977, your own party in its manifesto.
Okay, Rakesh Sinha, I get MR on the other side. Let's get MR in. One sec. I'll give you a counter view. Mr. Zaidi. Mr. Zaidi and R Venkatesh can debate. But I'll take a pause at 1 minute. Now I'll take a pause and I want you to listen to me. I'll take a pause, Rakesh Sinha. Hear me, please. Hear me, please, Rakesh Sinha. And I only want MR Venkatesh and Mr. Zaidi on both sides tonight. Please hear me. Mr. Zaidi, do you ever look at the other side? Do you ever consider what deprivation is? What unemployment is? Do you think about what merit is? Do you think about the younger generation of this country? Do you think what would happen in this country if Muslim young students passing their class 12 examination had doors shut on them? In university after university, they're out of the top 10 universities. Aligarh Muslim University is among the top 10 universities as per the India Rankings 2016. Why? Why should the doors of that university, 50% of the seats, be shut to deserving students from other religions? Now the point is this, Mr. Zaidi, that you need to ask yourself as per Planning Commission figures, because you're throwing figures at me tonight, so let me throw a figure at you and you hear me tonight. You hear me tonight, Mr. Zaidi, and ask people at the Aligarh Muslim University and ask the faculty at Aligarh Muslim University whether it's true or not. That as per the latest census, 30% of the population in Uttar Pradesh is below the poverty line. 30% of the population in Uttar Pradesh is below the poverty line. Mr. Zaidi, you don't want to hear me because these facts are uncomfortable to you. These facts are uncomfortable to you, Mr. Zaidi. You tell me, why should the status of a premier institution in a minority university deprive the weaker sections, irrespective of their faiths, to have a good education? Why do you want to deny? Why do you want to deny?
Are you arguing against reservation?
I am saying
there is a logic for reservation.
Mr.
There is a logic for reservation. The logic for reservation is that you give deprived sections a leg up.
Logic for reservation for backwards and scheduled caste, not for Muslims.
Economically. They are backward. That's why they need that help.
There is a logic only for backwards.
And
there is no backwards. No, Muslims cannot be held to be backwards. Mr. Zaidi, please understand, Muslims are the rulers of this country for the last 500 years, say 800 years. I am saying that. How can the rulers be the backwards? How can the rulers be the backwards? I am telling you, asking you a simple question. Throw that Sachar committee report. It is a rigged report. It has no meaning, sir. Throw that Sachar committee report. It was anything but such in that report. So throw that report into the dustbin. Please understand, how long are we going to have minority tag with the Muslims? You tell me, Mr. Zaidi, how long are we going to have the minority tag with the Muslims?
Don't shout. Hear what I am saying.
No, you don't shout. You better hear. You better hear now.
In 1977, the manifesto
what your party people? I am belonging to no party, sir. Please understand. Your party people did so many things. Shall I tell you that?
Advani ji was there.
No, please understand. Listen. Have the patience to listen.
And Subramanian Swamy was there. They were all there.
So what, sir? So what? The Constitution is supreme.
No.
Tomorrow will you agree if I get an opinion from Ram Jethmalani that you are wrong?
Mr. Sambit
What are you trying to say, Mr. Zaidi? What is this argument?
The 2006 judgment.
Mr. Zaidi, please listen. Mr. Zaidi, please listen. How long you want to have minority tag associated with Muslims? Tell me this. How long? You are the second largest population in the world in India. You are the second largest population in the world. You are the largest homogeneous group in this country. You are the largest homogeneous group. Dalits, Brahmins, Yadavs, the backwards.
Okay, one second, let him complete. Now one second, MR, listen. Let him complete his point. Let him complete his point.
I question you.
Let him complete his point. Let him complete his point. MR, let him complete his point. 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 Now, please, MR Venkatesh. MR Venkatesh, let him complete his point. We need to look at all sides, and you too, MR Venkatesh, need to understand that way back in 1951 under Jawaharlal Nehru, the 1920 Act was brought in consonance with the constitution that had been adopted, and a number of changes were brought that conformed with a secular state. These changes included, please hear me, these changes included deleting the provisions which prevented non-Muslims from becoming members of the court of the university and opening up the university to persons of either sex and whatever race, creed, caste, class, as well as not imposing any religious instructions on a student. The very fact that the university was made more inclusive and secular way back then can be argued to be proof of the fact that it was never meant to be a minority institution. That is an argument. But I will not get into this argument, oh, Muslims are bad, Hindus are good. That's no point. The point is, way back in 1920...
Nobody said that.
No, one second. Way back in 1920... Please understand, Mr. Zaidi, way back in 1920 under Jawaharlal Nehru, the university was made more inclusive. What does that prove? That it was meant to be more inclusive in character. And as it evolved, it was clear it cannot remain in the future to be only a minority institution. That is 1920. 96 years later, you want to tell me, let's not look at what happened in 1920. Should we reverse the clock, Mr. Zaidi? Should we move ahead as a nation? Or should we move back as a nation? You tell me. You tell me, and Pavan Verma tell me. Should we move, Pavan Verma, tell me, should we move forward as a nation or move back as a nation? No, one second. The question is to Mr. Zaidi. The question is to Mr. Zaidi.
How are we moving forward, Arnab? How are we moving forward?
Sir, all I'm saying is...
How are we moving forward,
Mr. Shahin,
how are we moving forward, Arnab? If we continue to...
privileges for itself and to create a divide between Hindu and Muslim.
Rakesh Sinha, a legitimate question is asked to me. Can I answer it?
AMU is a process of
we continue to
okay, Rakesh Sinha, I heard you.
Madrasas.
One second. Yeah, one second.
We continue to aid madrasas. There are major institutions like Ibn Taymiyyah University in Bihar, which is named after the grandfather of Islamist terrorists today all over the world. They all go by his logic. And the students there can get their degrees recognized by all other universities, and the Ibn Taymiyyah University can continue to administrate itself. You see, the Supreme Court's logic was that the Muslim community surrendered its minority character in lieu of the recognition of degrees. Now these madrasas are recognized and their degrees are recognized. So what is the logic? How are we moving forward? You are continuing to aid madrasa. There are 10,000 of them in UP.
Singular logic was that it was established by an act of parliament in 1920 and was not established by Muslims. This was the singular logic of the Supreme Court. Everything else is detail. This is the prime point. It is not that the Supreme Court said that in lieu of recognizing the degrees, we will remove your tag. That is absolutely wrong.
Okay, Pavan Verma.
The Supreme Court did say that.
Pavan Verma.
Arnab, I just want to answer the question you raised, which is a valid one. That in a society, do we create barriers for people of merit into either educational institutions or elsewhere? And my answer to you from the conscience of my being is that yes, we need a level playing field for all. But so long as there are inequalities in society, you have place for affirmative action. That's why you have reservations, which is also a limitation to absolute equality.
So
and
exactly
similarly,
that's what my
because in
question
India,
was, Mr. Verma.
can I just complete? I was answering Mr. Goswami.
Sambit, let him go.
Therefore, University, and you ducked my
let me
question.
finish, Arnab.
My
This is not
question
fair.
was, why are you not for
Arnab,
the assertive
छोड़ो यार, you ask a सवाल and then you allow panelists to
Okay, 1 second, please. Sambit, let him complete. Sambit, for a second time, let him complete.
No, I have a valid question. No
Let
one
him
is
complete.
answering
Sambit,
that.
I know you do, but please let him complete.
Election, they were having this rhetorical
And
debate about
therefore-
reservation.
therefore-
when confronted by the real issue, Mr. Pavan Verma is
therefore-
skirting the issue. I want Mr. Pavan
Patra,
Verma
your
to speak
arguments
on this,
are without substance.
For too
So
long,
therefore
no,
you-
sir, for too
for a
long
moment, please
months,
listen.
for 2 long months, you had a rhetorical debate on reservation.
Arnab,
My question is,
Arnab, I'd
why
like to
are you
answer
not
you.
standing with the
I'd like
Dalit
to answer
reservation?
you.
in AMU?
Sambit, Sambit,
That is
Sambit,
my question.
Sambit, wait,
afraid of my
Sambit,
answer.
Sambit, listen. Sambit, listen.
Mr.
Let him
Patra
complete
is
again for a
afraid of
second
my
time.
answer.
Please complete.
And that's why it's not
I respect you
filibustering.
immensely.
Let him complete.
Well, show that respect at least in listening to an argument, Sambit. I treat you also as a friend.
You're not answering
Let's have
me,
a
sir.
civilized debate. So I am answering
you're not
Arnab.
answering
and
me, sir.
therefore, for the millions of the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and the backward castes, this country in its wisdom through parliament has introduced a process of affirmative action. And similarly, the constitution maker said that in a country where there is a very large majoritarian community, in order for all Indians to grow together and find that same level of equality and opportunity, you must give to minorities special privileges to run and administer their education.
Who is saying that you cannot start a medical college tomorrow?
Pavan Verma, I want to give you a counterpoint of view to that. No, watch it. Sambit, listen. I have heard Pavan Verma, Mustafa Zaidi, Sultan Shahin with a great deal of respect and attention. And I want to tell them, sir, please understand, I have nothing against Aligarh Muslim University, but
within few weeks.
Rakesh Sinha, just saying one thing to them. I have nothing against Aligarh Muslim University.
अरे एक बात तो सुन लीजिए अर्नब सुन लीजिए एक बात आप भी सुन लीजिए कि देखिए यूपीए सरकार के अंतिम दिनों में in a few weeks UPA government has given 800 institution minority tag. So this minority tag you just see in Tamil Nadu how minority management institutions are being misused. They are selling their seats. There are no minority students there. You just go in Kerala and see how the minority institutions
That's a different point. That's a different point. It's a valid point.
Minority institutions discuss in holistic
we
manner.
know what every
but seats are being sold
and how it's
seats are being sold in all institutions, not only minority institutions. Now my limited point to my learned friends on the other side is this. My limited point is this. Please let us be real. Pavan Verma, first to you, the clamour for minority status is born out of an intention to justify reservations for minorities. And universities of the caliber of AMU, I am praising AMU, I am not deriding it, should be seen to be serving the interests of everyone, not just minorities. Now, therefore, by upholding Mr. Zaidi the right to admission for a particular community, only Muslims, for example, you will be seen to be depriving SCs and STs of high quality education, OBCs of high quality education, and other non-Muslims also of a need of high quality education. So that maybe you also need to sit down now.
Can I say?
Yeah, you just need to sit down, sir, and ask yourself.
I can answer that once again, Arnab.
Okay, both you and Mr. Zaidi in one sentence each. Yes,
Arnab,
go ahead.
I am adding one more point.
No, Mr. Zaidi first and then Pavan Verma.
Reservation on the basis of religion.
Mr. Zaidi, don't be unfair to non-Muslims.
does not allow the religious reservation on the basis of religion.
I'll like
Mr. Zaidi, and then I'm closing.
The judgment of 2006 is important here. Justice Ajay Nath Roy had given this judgment which has formed the basis of the case before the Supreme Court. India of 1920 was not the same as the India of 2005 or 2006. Section 3 of the General Clauses Act 1897, as amended up to date, clearly says that
Sir,
India of
sir,
1920
listen.
is British
Sir,
India.
sir, what am I saying?
And the India
Sir,
of 2005 is independent India.
I think you
What Justice
you have
Roy
point,
said that at that
sir,
time, the
come to the point.
government of
At the
India
end of
had
the day, what the court said was
the only way you would
1981
establish a
amendment cannot
university.
I'm closing the debate because I have a big report coming up on the other side. But I'd only say this, that Aligarh Muslim University is a world-class university.
That is because the judgment
It's a world-class university.
The judgment itself says
I feel in this country, technical, vocational, interdisciplinary education, management, social sciences, medicine, engineering should be available to people from all religions and not restricted in the main part to Muslims. I'm open to having another debate. This is not an argument about religion. It is actually an argument for merit. It's only an argument for merit. In 2016, only merit matters. I thank you all.